Have you optimized your emails for today's mobile consumer, but haven't yet really seen much improvement in your results? Hi, I'm Lauren McDonald with the IBM Marketing Cloud. Today I'd like to talk about the impact of mobile on email marketing, but more specifically leveraging the engagement rate, sometimes referred to as the read rate, along with content as sort of tools and diagnostics to help take your email marketing engagement rates to another level. So let's back up for a little bit and understand where we're at today. So if you go back to about 2010, the average email readership rate on mobile devices for most brands was around 5%. Today it hovers around 50%. For a lot of B2C brands, it can be 55, 60, even 65%. In certain sort of niche industries and things. And for a lot of B2B brands, it tends to be a bit below 50%, 35, 40, 45%. But obviously it's different for everyone. It's really important to understand where it's at for your brand. So when you understand that, as most brands do and email marketers do, what they've done over the last several years is really primarily focus on design. So they've moved their email templates to responsive or fluid or mobile friendly design, hoping that by changing the code and having the emails look better on mobile devices that would solve the problem. For most brands it actually hasn't. I know a lot of brands that have actually seen their open click-through rates, etc., even conversion rates obviously stay about the same or even lower. So just by moving to kind of a responsive or mobile friendly design solution doesn't necessarily solve the problem. So let's talk about the concept of engagement rate. So really excited, we're incorporating what we call the engagement rate or read rate in the IBM Marketing Cloud benchmark report. What the read rate is, or engagement rate is it looks at how long your recipients are actually reading or engaging with your emails. And it's along sort of 3 time-based levels that we look at. The best, the highest, if you will, is the read rate, which is where people actually read with your emails 8 seconds or longer. The second one is skimmed, which is between 2 to 7 seconds, and glanced or deleted is under 2 seconds or deleted. And so when we look at the metrics across when we look at the metrics across the IBM Marketing Cloud client base using our Email Insights tool, the average read rate, again at more than 8 seconds, is about 52%. And so what that means is that the other 48%, or again almost nearly half, of the recipients of your emails are looking at them for less than 7 seconds. In some cases, not at all, just deleting, or just a couple of seconds. So that glanced or skimmed. And so what does this mean? What this means is the reality is that what's going on today is when you take the mobile devices and how that's changing how people engage with your emails, and the fact that they're often literally mobile, meaning they're walking down the street, they're in elevators, whatever it is, they're distracted, they're multitasking. They actually don't have sort of the time or the focus to engage with their emails as long as they might on a desktop. The second part of that is there's some studies that are showing that as humans, and technology is driving some of this, is that our level of is that our attention span is actually declining. It's over the last decade, it's declined by probably about 4 seconds for most people. And so the importance here is to understand then, what can we do about it? How can we try to address some of these things with our emails when you have an increasing number of people looking at them on mobile devices? The design is not necessarily solving the problem or responsive, and they have shorter attention spans. So here are a couple of ideas and tips to think about how to get more out of, to try to improve the results from your email marketing program. So first, again, sort of basic is if you're not already doing, if you are not already doing it, do leverage a tool like the Email Insights tool and measure not only what devices and clients people are engaging with your emails on, but that engagement rate, how long are they? And then compare those numbers using our report with the averages and people in your industry to kind of see how you're faring. Are you falling below, above, just about right? Where are you at? And try to understand then, if there's sort of, if you're falling way behind and there's great need for improvement, or you're doing relatively well. The other thing is combine that with the click to open rate. And if you see that you're below average on click to open rate and engagement rate, those read rates, then you probably have a problem. It could be many things. It could be just sort of the essence of your brand is not necessarily resonating, delivering on expectations with the email program. It means that maybe you have too much text. You're just literally using kind of the same messaging over and over and over again. Whatever it is you're not sort of engaging at the level that you could. So a couple of quick things that you could think about doing. One is obviously subject lines. Make sure you're testing and not just using the same old approach to subject lines again and again, but there are a lot of tools out there. Test all different types and styles and approaches. Long subject lines, sort of emotional, even using things like emojis, etc. But test everything to see what impact, first and foremost, that has pulling people in. Of course, along with that, you optimize your pre-header text. But really the thing I want to talk about and suggest today is visuals and images. There's a lot of studies in how humans basically, it takes them less time to engage and decipher and understand the meaning of images versus text. So make sure that you're understanding that and you're starting to leverage visuals, whether it's images, animated GIFs, even video, emojis, etc. in your email, that quickly when somebody's looking at their email, they can get a sense of it. Their brain can decipher what's going on, what are the key calls to action in your email very quickly, as opposed to having to read a whole bunch of text. Secondly, then also look at the text that you're using. Test different styles and approaches. Test where you're using the text in combination with those images and how you're supporting it, as opposed to kind of the other way around. And so really thinking about, again, not just the design and layout, but how you can leverage sort of that combination of images along with sort of the supporting text, if you will. And finally, is sort of, test everything, right? Don't stop with just kind of subject lines, but test all aspects of kind of the design, layout, imagery, copy, etc. within your emails, and keep testing that until you find an approach that works just great for you. So a couple of quick tips and thoughts on engagement rate and optimizing for mobile. I hope some of these ideas help you today, and until next time, take it up a notch.